Hello to any manager hearing this. Welcome to your daily Lobotomy Corporation Abnormality Guide. I am Manager Riley, and today we will be discussing classification code T-01-68. Name, the funeral of the dead butterflies, or as I like to call it, solemn lament. This abnormality's risk level is HE. First, we'll start with the appearance, then the story for it, then move on to the ego weapons and suit. What happens when it breaches, and then the test scores for the level of your employees. With that out of the way, let's get into it. A photo will be put up on screen, but for those who can't see it, the funeral of the dead butterflies is a tall, slim man who wears a black suit with a black overcoat and white outlines, and wears a white button-up shirt, and he has some butterflies for his head. He has 5 arms, 2 normal ones, one coming out of his chest, and the last 2 are coming out of the back of his shoulders. Those arms are holding up a coffin with a butterfly carved onto the cover of it. Now that you probably have the general idea of what it looks like, let's move on to the story for it. Where does one go when they die? Where did all the employees who worked here go? They must have returned home to a haven where family and warmth awaits. The employees cannot leave once they join the company. The only way to leave is to resign. And those resigned employees must have returned home, having earned what they wanted and being full of hope. We are the feathers of a wing. Resignation isn't as simple as you think it is. Just like how a feather doesn't detach from a wing of its own will. Then, where did all the resigned employees go? They are bound to the company the moment they entered. Even if they do resign, they're doomed to stay here forever. Long ago, in some world, people believed that they would become beautiful beings with small wings when they died. It's a silly story, nonsensical too. If we get wings, will we be able to leave this place? Do we get our wings after we retire? They say the mourner, with a huge luggage on his back, has come to be a savior to all. Eventually, he himself was trapped in this place, and now he wanders the company with only the memories of an empty faith. He's carrying a coffin, a large coffin, to pay tributes to the employees who have nowhere to go. However, it is still too small to comfort those innocent sacrifices. Inside the coffin is a kaleidoscope of butterflies, waiting for the moment to fall asleep. Until then, they flutter their wings uselessly. The wings that may have been many jumbled into one, or one split into many. Butterflies are supposed to pollinate flowers. Not a single proper flower blooms in this place. There's no choice but to wait. After all, there must be an end to every world. What a beautiful yet interesting story. Now that it's out of the way, let's move on to the ego, weapons, suit, and gift. All parts of the set are called Solemn Lament. The weapons in this set are 2 guns, a black handgun with white butterfly carvings, and a white handgun with black butterfly carvings. One dealing 2 white damage per shot, and the other one dealing 2 black damage per shot. Which means if you hit someone enough times, they can heal panicking employees and return them to their normal state. Each time the trigger is pulled, you can see dozens of butterflies come out of the barrels of the guns. It attacks every 0.5 seconds and has a long range. The ego suit is this nice black suit with a black overcoat and white outlines, and the stats are as follows. It takes 1.2 times more red damage, 0.8 times less white damage, half black damage, and 1.5 times pale damage. The ego gift is the coffin, but it rests on the right side of the back, and it adds +1 to HP, SP, success rate, work speed, movement speed, and attack speed. I will put up a photo for all of these as I read the story, but the story is as follows. The somber design is a reminder that not a sliver of frivolity is allowed for the mind of those mourning. One handgun symbolizes grief for the dead, while the other symbolizes an early lament for the living. The Undertaker's outfit is worn by those who pay tribute to the dead. Only a solemn mind is required to express condolences. There's no need for showy accessories. If you see a mound standing out in the middle of a desert, please do not desecrate it. It is a grave of the countless butterflies that have died in this place. The funeral of the dead butterflies is a breaching abnormality. It has a Clifford counter of 1, and it lowered guaranteed when an employee of justice level 2 or lower, or fortitude levels of 4 or higher, finished working with it. It also had an 80% chance to lower the counter when the work result was bad. When the counter hits 0, it will breach containment with 400 HP. It takes half the amount of red damage it would normally take. It takes 1.5 times as much white damage. It takes the normal amount of black damage and takes 2 times more pale damage. It will roam the facility looking for a target, and when it does, it can perform one of 2 attacks. It can extend its left arm and make a gun shape with the hand, and then shoot some butterflies towards an employee, which will deal 10 to 15 white damage. Or it can use its special attack, where it ceases movement, drops the coffin, and opens it. And then, after that, every 0.3 seconds, the funeral of the dead butterflies will summon a swarm of butterflies with 120 movement speed. These butterflies will rush forward and continuously deal 3 to 4 white damage to units they touch. This effect cannot take effect again within 1 second after dealing damage. The butterflies will disappear after existing for more than 15 seconds or reaching the end of an area. If the abnormality depletes the SP of an employee with its attacks, the employee will die instead of panic. Let's move on to the last thing we need to talk about, the test succession rate. Quick side note, every time a negative EK box is produced, it deals 4 to 6 white damage, or in better terms, sanity damage, to an employee. For instinct, 1 is common at 50% to get a good work result, 2 is at a common with a 45% chance to get a good work result, and 3 is also at a common but with a 40% chance to get a good work result. 4 and 5 have a 0% chance though. On insight, it has a common chance of 50% all across the board. Attachment has a 0% chance across all numbers. On repression, 1 and 2 have a 0% chance to get a good work result, while 3 to 5 have a high chance at 60% to get a good work result, and can produce a maximum of 16 Akefali boxes. Unfortunately, that is everything I have for the funeral of the dead butterflies. Next abnormality that will be explained will either be open can of Welchers or Defreischutz. If you guys have any other suggestions, let me know. This was Manager Riley. Have a good day testing.